Hello and welcome everybody to another Total War Arena video with Overkill Total War. Today we'll be taking a look at another premium unit for the Greeks. This time we're looking at the Tier 2 heavy hoplites, the Myrmidons. So, these are the Myrmidons, straight out of the movie Troy by the looks of it. I don't know if there's any source material on what they look like other than Troy. I'm sure there's been pictures and stuff, but no one actually knows if the Trojan conflict actually happened or not, because it's part of the Iliad. I think that's what it's called. Ooh, butchering stuff already, probably. So yeah, these are a tier 2 hoplite for the Greeks, as I said. Today we'll be running Leonidas. I have him at tier 5. Just because of the fact that, he's better at defensive stuff. And, yeah, in a defensive position, these guys will be quite good, but we'll take a look at that in a second. So, as I said earlier, these are a premium unit. That means you have to pay gold for them. Being at tier 2, they're quite cheap. I believe I got these a while ago from a code, but I'm pretty sure they cost about maybe 2,000 gold or something like that. If we take a look at the other units, I mean, like, units at tier 3 are 4,000, so it's anywhere between 2,000 like 3,000-ish gold for them. So yeah, the Myrmidons. Let's take a look at their stats. So as you can see here, very good. Of course, this is a premium unit, so it's pretty damn good for a tier 2. And the fact that they're the only tier 2 heavy unit, so that's actually quite interesting, because the next level you'll be fighting against is medium at tier 2. Excuse me. So now, of course, we will be facing tier 3s and 4s, 1s, but I think I'm going to start just focusing on their straight-up competition, the units that you'll probably see the most. So today I'll only be showing you the stats of tier 2 units. They're direct competitors. Now, of course, as the tiers get higher, the units are going to be serving more specialized roles than they do right now. So later on in the game, or with higher tier units, I may only focus on certain types, such as spear infantry and melee infantry, but at tier 2, I'm pretty sure it doesn't really matter. All these units can really take on each other and still win. So today, right now, let's look at their direct competitor in the Greek line itself, the light hoplites. So as you can see, the light hoplites share the same morale and health, but the Myrmidons have much more armor due to that heavy status. They have the same visibility range. The Myrmidons actually have 1 less melee attack, which is interesting, but they have 6 extra melee defense. They have the same weapon damage and a 5 higher missile block. So, obviously, directly compared to the light hoplites, these guys would be better. But of course, if you want to get to the higher units, you have to use the light hoplites. So that's what your choice is. These guys, again, since they're premium, they're purely for getting Commander XP. Now on to the Roman line. We look at the Italian infantry. Now these are sword infantry, so the stats are going to be quite different, but you get the idea. This is to see how they would compare against them. The morale of the Italian infantry is 6 higher at 84. They have a little bit more health at 198. Their armor is a lot less, or maybe not a lot, but it's less. They have the same visibility range. They do a little bit more damage. They have a little bit higher melee attack, rather. They have quite a considerable amount less melee defense, so that's the trade-off. And they do quite a substantial amount of more damage with their swords. And their missile block chance is quite a bit lower. So you can see the trade-off. Of course, these being hoplites, the others being sword infantry. They trade defense and attack, basically. So these guys would be pretty equal. So next we look at the other Roman unit in the line, these Vigiles. So as you can see, they have the same health, same morale, considerably lower armor due to the fact that these guys are heavy, like I said again. The visibility range is the same. They do the same attack. They have slightly less melee defense, the same damage, and considerably less missile block chance. So as you can see, these shields are a nice bit bigger than what a Vigile would have. And then we get into the barbarians, because we're going so low into the tiers that we're actually facing barbarian units here. So, of course, these guys are going to have super low defense, but higher attack. So, barbarians, of course, I'm giving tips in a Greek video, I don't know why, but barbarians aren't going to want to face these guys at the front. They're definitely going to want to try to get somebody else to pin these guys down and get behind them. But the morale is quite quite higher with the barbarian units, as you can see. Sorry, this is the Axeman unit, I believe. I think that's what they're called. I could be wrong, but the right name will be above the stats. They have more health at 198. They have a lot less armor, of course. Visibility range is the same. They have a lot more melee attack. Half the melee defense almost. They do much more weapon damage, and their missile block chance is considerably lower. And then we look at the Barbarian Warband. Their morale is higher again. They have more health, much less armor, but these guys are better off than the Axemen, I can tell you that. The visibility range is the same. Melee attack is higher. Melee defense is much lower, and weapon damage is much higher again. And their missile block chance is slightly lower. The Warband actually have a decent sized shield. And yeah, that's all the direct competition to the Myrmidons. So let's take a little bit better look at some of their equipment. So against cavalry, this Achilles helm will actually give them more morale. So if you're fighting cavalry, you'll have more of an edge than say if you're fighting against infantry. All the other things don't do anything particularly special, except for their spear, which versus cavalry gives plus 33 extra melee defense, plus 32 extra melee attack, and plus 70 melee damage. So that'll be taking your melee damage from 158 like way above 200, and that's ridiculous. And the only cav you'll be facing down here is the barbarian cav, and possibly, if you're unlucky, auxiliaries and citizen cavalry. So that's huge. Then we look at their consumables. They have Thales? I don't know. Whoops. Council 2, which is plus 2 base morale. Share Wine, which increases the morale of nearby units. Olympic Trials, which is more melee defense. And Double Rations, which is morale and melee damage. So I decided to put Double Rations and Olympic Trials on these guys just to boost their morale, weapon damage, and melee defense. So that means if anybody clashes into these guys, they will have the edge over whoever is attacking them. So with this bonus, that brings their weapon damage up to 162. They have 67 melee defense and then 79 morale, which is nothing to shake a stick at. And using Leonidas' abilities, their melee defense and such is just so much higher. So yeah, guys, this has been the look at the stats. Let's go take a look at these guys on the battlefield. So welcome everybody once again to the more interesting part of the video. So, we're on Thermopylae with these Myrmidons, and I'm giving you a little look at them there. Straight out of Troy, those guys are. Hell yeah. I'm just going to be straight up. I don't do too well in this game in terms of points. I only get about 1,600 or so. But I thought this was a good game because it showed how tanky the Myrmidons actually are. And that's basically what they're all about. So I don't do too well because I do get destroyed, so this will be a short clip as well. But my actions of holding off the enemies that I did, I'm pretty sure deliver my team to victory. Because I completely stalled the offensive on our base, and our archers were able to just absolutely destroy them. I believe that's why I didn't get as many points as I thought I was going to from how much stuff died, because I'm pretty sure half the stuff died from other people's ranged support, not actually my Myrmidons. But anyway, I start moving my guys over. I start looking at our artillery players and see that they're like all immunes or whatever they're called. And I see this cav, and I'm getting ready to defend against it. But then I realize, like, oh crap, if I get spotted, I'm going to get shot at. So I should probably move and try to not get shot, because artillery just rained down and killed some of our little immunes or whatever they're called. I'm not sure if that's what the unit is that guy's using. But anyway, I took a look at them, and yeah. I think he lost a few crewmen or something. But yeah, then I almost decided to go into the woods, but then I realized, like, if I get attacked, the Myrmidons are going to get absolutely destroyed because they're a heavy unit, and basically everybody they're going to be dealing with is medium. So there I go, taking a look at the nerf from the woods to our stats. So I was like, screw that, I'll stay out of there. The enemy team was quite defensive. At first, it seemed like they were going to be a defensive team. They weren't going to push, but out of nowhere, a lot of the enemy forces come straight down the middle. I don't think I was paying attention when they did. So they get the upper hand on me there. But yeah, I'm just observing the map, seeing what my team is doing, seeing where they're going. I noticed that there's some tier 1s on my team. It seems that these guys like getting into tier 3 matches. So, yeah. They'll be dealing with hoplites and such a lot. But they can definitely stand up to hoplites better than light hoplites can. So there's no real big problem there. Someone's pointing out that that tower is captured, so there's a unit sitting there. But I don't think our artillery even really cares. He doesn't notice, because we do have one onager. But I don't even think he cares. And then I noticed I started getting shot by the enemy artillery, so I was like, oh god, run! And this is when I also noticed that the enemy was pushing through middle. So I was like, okay, we won't run. Instead of letting the enemy get multiple shots in, let's charge into the enemy infantry, see if they'll stop shooting at us. And foolishly, one of our artillery players, or well, I guess more of an engineer kind of player, just lets himself get charged. So he lost like half his stuff there. So this is where the action starts. I get a charge in on these light hoplites, and I pin them in place, and then I try to charge in with the second unit. And with hoplites, it's not really, I wouldn't really consider it a great charge. But we still do manage to do lots of damage to that enemy unit. So then my general's unit, I try to take the charge of 3 units on them. We actually managed to make these guys try to run away. I was going to say rout for a second, but the player just tried to pull them out. So I make one unit keep chasing that way, and then I get to flank these guys. As you can see, my Myrmidons haven't lost hardly anybody against those like 3 units, which is pretty good. The melee defense is really standing up on them. And I start popping battle cry and shield bash and all that stuff just to get all that that extra, those buffs to my melee abilities. And as you can see, I'm doing pretty good. I'm not losing many men, and you can see all those numbers flying around. We're destroying the guys that are sandwiched between us. So I'm not sure if the enemy infantry just wasn't worth that many points, because in a higher tier game, fighting against that many units and doing so much damage would actually give you a nice score. But it didn't seem to happen here. And then there you hear me spamming the shield bash key, trying to get it to go off. Oh lord. Yeah, sometimes my abilities don't really react instantly. So, and now that I think about it, I noticed that no one's actually shooting at the people I fought. Like earlier, I was talking about how my teammates might have gotten most of the points, but you know what I think it was? I'm pretty sure the enemy team just got a lot of team kills and killed half the enemy infantry for me. But I appreciate that. So there you go. That's basically my final score right there, is 1630. Our top player ends up with 4,500. So I thought like maybe just at low tiers you don't make as much, but no, you still can. It's just I got a little screwed over there. But as you can see, how many units I was actually holding off. That's pretty impressive. If we take a look at the stats that I got from that battle, we got 4,365 silver, 214 commander XP, and then 489 unit XP on those Myrmidons. So that's still not too bad for a game like that. So yeah, definitely you don't want to be aggressive. Like I charged in when I probably shouldn't have. I should have let the enemy charge me. I could have put them into that defensive formation that they have that could have deflected their charge, and I probably would have done a little bit better. But, you know, you learn from your mistakes. I still did decently, and our team went on to victory because the enemy offensive was completely broken from the Myrmidons. But anyway, guys, this has been another Total War Arena Focus. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.